So for the wall hanging, I just cut out these 3 pieces. And I'm going to include a template for these 2, and then you can just trace a mug or something for the circle. And then I'm just going to paint all my pieces first, and then I will use a hole punch to punch small holes along the edges, and I'll string some string between them. I'm going to use this wax cord actually. And so then I'll string it all together, and then I'll just hang it from the back piece. So now I just measured and I marked out holes along each edge so that they would line up with each other, so that I can string the string through each hole and it will all like connect together. And then I just took this embroidery needle and I'm gonna go and work my way through at each mark that I've marked and just push through to make a hole, so that I can then use this afterwards to string the string through. So I'm just gonna repeat that with all the different holes that I marked out. So I cut enough pieces to go through each of the holes, and I'm actually going to string them through, and then I'm just gonna hot glue on the back side to hold it in place, just because I don't want to tie knots and have it pushing off from the wall. So I'm just gonna decide how far apart I want them, put them in place, and then I'll trim the strings as I go to make sure I'm keeping the same distance. So to start, you're just going to want to take your egg carton, and you're going to want to cut apart each of the individual pieces. So I saved these pieces as well as the bottom pieces. So once I had them all cut out, I kind of shaped some of them into different shapes and pinched them together, and you can use your nails to kind of separate the edges to give it a little bit of a looser look. And I cut out some of the scraps for leaves, and then I'll just start painting all the pieces. And then you're just going to take pieces of wire, and on one end kind of twist it into a small circle, and then you'll just hot glue the circle to the bottom of the flowers. And then once the glue is dried, you can bend the wire so that your flower faces whatever direction that you want. Then once you have them all glued together, you can just collect them and put them in a vase or in a thing of paper as a bouquet. So first you can use the template that we're going to have on the blog, and you can just cut your piece out of a piece of thin cardboard. And then you can also just take a toilet paper roll and cut it in half, and then on even sides you'll just cut a small slit, and repeat on the other one. And now I'll just paint all of the pieces. Once the paint is dry, you can use a hot glue gun to attach some ripped up cotton balls to the stand parts. And then you can just take the rainbow part and slide it into the slots that you cut. So you're just going to start with a scrap piece of cardboard and a half a piece of a toilet paper roll, and you'll cut slits down into this like you did with the previous project, and then you'll just paint both as desired. Then once it's dry, you can use a glue stick to put on a picture of the kids or grandkids, and then you can just doodle on Happy Mother's Day. And then once it's all done, you can just stick it on the little stand that you created, and it'll be a little Mother's Day card stand. So first I just took a couple bottles and jars out of recycling, and I just I scraped the labels off, and I used Glue Gun to get the bottles clean. And then I'm just gonna use a primer to coat these and then let them dry. And then I'm gonna come back in and use the plaster of Paris on them. So then once the paint has dried, I'm just gonna mix some plaster of Paris in a cup. And I'm going to just start with a paintbrush. I didn't have a foam brush, which I would have used. And I'm just gonna paint on a thin layer and then let it dry, and then I'll kind of add layers onto that afterwards and just see how it goes. And then once they're dry, I'm just gonna give them a quick sanding, and then I will just paint them and then let them dry, and they'll be good to go.